Thank you, Mr. Byarugaba, for agreeing to this interview and giving us time to talk about some of the facilities that Bank of Uganda is offering to Ugandans. And we shall start with the agricultural credit facility. We'll start with maybe asking, how has this agricultural facility been used to support the priorities of the national development?
Thank you very much, Lillian, for this interview. I'll start by introducing myself, Richard Byarugaba, and I'm the Executive Director Finance at the bank. And it is in this directorate that the managed funds are looked after, the Agricultural Credit Facility and the Small Business Recovery Fund. Now, the Agricultural Credit Facility was started in 2009 by the government under the able leadership of His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, and it was meant to commercialize agriculture, but also to extend cheap credit to those involved in agriculture, because the commercial banks and other lending institutions thought it was very risky. So very little money was going to this area, and so he thought it wise that we start this facility to make sure that we give cheap finance to those involved in agriculture, which at the time was the major export earner for Uganda, and also employing about 70% of Ugandans. So that is the importance that agriculture has in our economy. So we have extended money to those involved in agriculture along the agricultural value chain, from on-farm activities, processing, transportation, and export. So everybody involved in that agricultural value chain can access this funding. Maybe if I can mention some of the features, this facility is lent at 12%, and we partner with the financial institutions, all institutions licensed by Bank of Uganda. There are about 35, and so the government partners with this through Bank of Uganda. They contribute half of the loan, and the Bank of Uganda also contributes half on behalf of the government. So if a loan is 100 million, the banks will put 50, and then the government 50. And they are accessing these funds is through the what we call participating financial institutions, because they are the ones where Ugandans have accounts, and they are spread all over the country as compared to Bank of Uganda, which has only a few branches. So you access through your bank account, and then the file comes to us for approval.
That's really wonderful. Maybe we can also ask, what measurable impact has this facility had on agriculture productivity? Are you able to highlight?
In terms of measurable impact, we have, as I said, given funds to on-farm activities, processing, and other activities that add value to the agricultural produce. So in total, we have extended up to 1.23 trillion Uganda shillings, and to about 7,666 beneficiaries. This is as at the end of June 2025. So when we started, of course, we started with little money, 30 billion, but progressively the government has been funding this facility. And as at the end of June, we had received from government about 330 billion. So if you add that to the one of commercial banks, then that's why we are able to talk of that much. But the way it works, it is revolving. So if we lend to person A and they pay, then we lend to person B and C. So 1.3 trillion is adding all the money we have lent from the time this facility started.
Okay, that is very impactful. And I think that leads to my next question, maybe to find out what measures as Bank of Uganda have you taken to ensure that this facility is benefiting smallholder farmers and agro processors in small scale?
So one thing that viewers must understand is that this is for commercial agriculture. So it is not meant for smallholders that produce for domestic consumption. This is for people who have something that they will take to the market to be able to pay the loan. So many times we find that those smallholder farmers do not have records or they don't have security. So this goes to farmers that have a product for sale on the market. And therefore we have put in place a product for those ones who don't have security, like the women who would want to farm but their husbands will not give them the collateral and everything. So this is called block allocation, where farmers come together on a group and then we give them funds, and because of the risk, they don't have security, they are limited only to 20 million each. So that we can lend to them based on their records, on their integrity, their CBR report, their cash flows, their character. So it's more to do with how the bank views you, that you can return the money. So we have seen this grow, and many farmers have accessed this to buy seeds, pesticides, the things that they need on the farm. And this has increased the lending to women and the youth.
Wow, okay. What about to ensure that it's spread across the region, that we're maybe not focusing only on
Okay,
central?
so that has been a question. I don't know. I was making a presentation one time and somebody said it is a Rusania principle. So we have funds, okay? Whoever is ready comes and takes. So it is not us to spread, it is the need that people have. So Uganda does not have every region engaged in agriculture. So those engaged in agriculture have taken a lot more than so there is no regional balancing. And as I told you, because there is the private part of the money, the one for commercial banks, right? It's not going to be given based on a political need or something. It is based on what you are producing and what you can take to the market. So we do not do the balancing, but we encourage the commercial banks, those that have branches across the country, to make sure that they onboard as many customers as possible. Now, to do this, we also go with the banks. We do a lot of awareness. We organize awareness campaigns to make sure that the people understand, and when they go to banks, they ask for this government facility. They should know their rights, so that when they reach the banks, do not tell them that we don't have this, we have the other one. And so we try to do a lot of sensitization around this government facility.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yes.
And of course, in implementing this, you might have faced any challenges. What
Yes.
are the key challenges you faced in implementing this facility?
So the first challenge is that many Ugandan businesses and farmers tend to be informal. So they do not have records, cash flows, what they take to the market. Somebody has a farm, but you ask how many liters do you take to the dairy corporation or something where they sell meat, they don't have. So when you don't have records, then it is hard to assess or appraise how much to give you. So that is number one, that there is a lot of informality, because banks need registered businesses and you must have a bank account, that kind of thing. Then the second one, we have had the challenge of collateral. Many people don't have the formal land title. They have land, it's Chibanja, but banks will not lend based on Chibanja. If it is Chibanja, then the loan has to be a small size, it will not be big. We had the problem of regions where land is owned customary, and we have been criticized for not extending credit, but land is customary, so the banks cannot get a land title to mortgage, especially part of northern Uganda where land is customary owned. So that has been a problem. The other problem has been the commercial banks themselves that we partner with. This we get from our customers, from the farmers. That whenever they go, sometimes some of the banks try to sell their products, not this one. So you want a loan, this one is at 12%, then they'll tell you the process is long, it's better you take this one, which you can take now at 24%. But when you take at 24%, to make that profit to come and pay becomes a problem. So this was put to make sure that it's affordable, but sometimes some institutions tend to give funds for agriculture, but not from this facility, because they also have their other money, which they collect from deposits. The last one would be the borrowers complain of the lengthy process. From the time they apply to the time they get the money, the season has gone. So the money has stayed, but the planting season is gone. So there is that complaint that there is a delay, which we acknowledge and are trying to address. Because then the file comes from the bank to the Bank of Uganda before the fund is disbursed. So we are in discussions with government and the bank to see how quickly we can make the turnaround faster.
Yeah. And that actually answers the next question we had, that looking ahead, how will Bank of Uganda strengthen this agricultural credit facility to support agro-industrialization?
Okay, so one of the ways is, as I said, to make sure that we solve these challenges that I've given you. But in addition, we have to continue the sensitization. We have put in place a system where applications do not come on paper. They are sent electronically, we do approvals electronically, and the money goes electronically. So we have interfaced the system with what we call RTGS, the real-time gross settlement system, that takes the money direct to the commercial bank without manual intervention. So there is, when we approve, there is interface with this system. The other thing we are doing, which is key to us, you see, we have a memorandum of agreement between the Bank of Uganda, the fund administrator, the government who owns the money, and the participating financial institution. So we have amended the agreement. The document is still with the Attorney General, being a government program. So we want to relax some of the restrictions that we had put in this. For example, we had said you cannot borrow this money to pay off another loan. You cannot borrow more than once. So all those we are going to remove, so that we make many people access this facility. So the amendments, including provisioning, we are making it easier that if we have a loan of 100 million and it is not recoverable, the commercial bank should provide for 50%, the 50 million, and then the 50 million government. Currently, the banks are doing the whole 100, so which is a charge on their capital. So we are saying, since it is a partnership and risk sharing, when a loan is not paid, each party loses what they contributed. Okay? So those are some of the things we want to change to make sure that more people access this money. And also we had, the other restriction was, we had limited funds for biological assets. Biological assets are living things. Cows, goats, fish, all those that have life, to 80 million. So we want to extend that, to take it to about 250 million. So that people in Chiruhura and Chankwanz, where there are so many cows, we can increase the stock of cows. This is good because this also ensures our food security. If we don't have food security, then it can also escalate to national security. Food security is important. People need to be satisfied. So we have a lot of cows coming for for the meat packers, and we have a lot of eggs. We finance a lot of poultry, piggery, and fishing, and many others. So, yeah. So we think we have made a big impact in terms of food security, improving people's incomes, and also earning foreign exchange by exporting.
Thank you for that information on the agricultural credit facility.
Welcome.
We shall now go to the Small Business Recovery Fund.
Okay.
Are you set?
So, yeah, can I first say what it is then before you dive into the question?
Please.
So the Small Business Recovery Fund was started in 2020, 1920 there, to address 2021 the effects of COVID-19, because when COVID-19 came, we had lockdown, so many businesses suffered because people could not move, so they could not open. So government put in a fund of 100 billion, and the commercial banks also 100, the matching fund, to a total of 200 billion to be lent to the entities that suffered the effects of COVID-19. And this fund is lent at 10%. 10%, but for a shorter period of I think 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good. And so I'll maybe ask, so how has the Bank of Uganda ensured that this fund directly supports the priorities that we've outlined in the national development?
Okay, so as I said, this fund was meant for businesses that suffered, and these are businesses, all businesses except agriculture. So you have like things like garages, saloons, schools, hospitals, clinics, all those that service economy, and mainly the small ones. So all those are eligible, and the restrictions that were put, because we thought the money was little, we put a lot of stringent restrictions, and so it is not moving as fast as we thought. We have so far lent about 72 billion out of the 200. So we still have the money. And what we are doing again is to study why the money is not going and how we can increase the uptake of this money. So we think when people start getting the money, their businesses grow, they employ more people, and so the incomes of Ugandans improve, and then that's how we shall contribute to the growth prospects of Ugandans and Vision 2040.
Yeah. So, and unlike the Agricultural Credit Fund, how has this small business recovery contributed to the growing of small businesses that are critical to Uganda's economy recovering?
So we have, when we opened, we have seen most of the money going to mainly trade. People have like groceries. Schools have benefited a lot, because when they locked down, then some of the buildings needed to be repaired, and hospitals and clinics. So by doing that, then we are able to have schools open, and when schools are open, of course, the children have to consume facilities. So it creates a market for many other businesses, and so there has been a lot of contribution in that area.
Okay. What about ensuring that this loan is accessible to the underserved areas, the rural areas?
We used the same principle of block allocation. So block allocation is also available in these, where people have good credit reference, bureau reports, people have cash flows, integrity, and the banks know them. There is trust. They can come and borrow up to 20 million without bringing the traditional collateral of land title. We have also allowed chattel mortgages. You can mortgage TV, chair, whatever asset you have, bicycle, motorcycle, but you have to register it with URSB. So we are working with URSB to make sure that this registration is quick. So now they have a system, people log on and do the registration. So we have found this also allowing many people to access this facility. The challenge we have still is awareness. You put out all this like we are talking, people will not listen. You go to a radio, you organize all these conferences, but they still need, and people don't have what it takes to borrow. They still need work. We need to do work around informality. If you have a salon, you don't know how many people you work on, then it is hard for a bank to give you money. You have a motorcycle, you don't know how many customers you transport every day, you don't know how much money you have collected in a day. So that information is important. It doesn't have to be formal or audited. It can be an exercise book we just record so that people have what to refer to. Yeah.
And thank you for highlighting one of the challenges, as you've said. Are there any other challenges that you've experienced while implementing this fund? And what are the lessons you've picked that can improve the national development?
Okay, so the challenges we have, this money is also available to the media houses and those involved in entertainment, every business. So the informality is one thing, lack of records generally. Then there is lack of financial literacy. People don't know simple things of saving, budgeting, that information. So we need a lot of financial literacy. We have the challenge again of banks and us. The business people think we don't process very quickly their applications. The application process is the same. And so we are trying to improve that so that people get money very quickly. Because if we have to clear your goods, say from customs, and we delay, then you are paying charges, and that has been a problem. The solution is, again, we are working on amending the memorandum of agreement to remove some of the restrictions. The current ceiling or limit for these loans is 200 million. We want to increase it to 500 because we have seen 200 million is little for people involved, say, in hardware business. So we need to increase that. We had put the number of employees from 2 to 49. We think that should be removed. We had put turnover. So there were restrictions, the criteria that we had put, which we need to relax to make sure that people access this money. And this document is also with the Attorney General's office. We are waiting for clearance so that we roll it out to the banks and increase the uptake. The funds are there, but people don't have what it takes to access this money. There are many Ugandans with small businesses, but they don't have a bank account. They have all the money on the phone and under the mattress, so the banks have no records of their banking, so it becomes hard for them to access. So we need to improve on making our businesses formal. Some people think when they make it formal, then they will be taxed, but that's not necessarily true. But also it is not bad to pay taxes as citizens, because how then will we develop if we don't pay taxes? But the reason for having your records and having a bank account is not to pay taxes, but to help you to access cheap funding for your business.
Yeah. So, and lastly, in this area, you see, as Uganda, we work towards attaining Vision 2040, as Bank of Uganda, how do you plan on these lessons that you've built, you've experienced while giving out this fund, giving literacy and all these characteristics of Ugandans? How are you planning to use these lessons to create sustainable financing mechanisms?
Okay, so Bank of Uganda is big, but now we are concentrating on this. But one of the things that Bank of Uganda does is to make sure that prices are stable. We do monetary policy to make sure inflation is not very high, exchange rate is stable. So that stability is important. But going back to this, We need to make sure that there's this what government has put in place, the 10-fold growth strategy. We need to grow our GDP by 10 times. So then we need to grow like these loans, we need to grow them by 10 times for us to arrive at that 10-fold growth strategy. So we need to make sure that we increase the lending, attract more people into formal sector, and make sure that they access these loans, and increase the production, because GDP grows by us having more production, more money. Ugandans having more money in the pockets, and getting out of this poverty. Everybody becoming middle income. That is the aspirations of Ugandans and the government. And so we need, whatever we are doing, we need to increase it by almost 10 times in the next 10 years.
Okay. Thank you. So, Mr. Byarugaba, as now we finish, do you have any final message to Ugandans?
My final message to Ugandans is that these two facilities we have talked about are there. People think that there's no money. We are just talking. I want to assure them that the money is there, and it is their right to come and access the money, but through the commercial banks where they have accounts. So Ugandans, know your rights. Go to the institutions and insist that you need to access the government funds. And if you find challenges, you can write to Bank of Uganda, and we shall look into your issues. We have a customer complaints desk. You can drop your request, your complaint at the gate opposite Grand Imperial Hotel, and we shall address your complaint. And if you are in business, you want us to come and address your colleagues, then you can write to us. We shall come and give free financial literacy, educating the masses. It doesn't matter where it is. We go even up country and everywhere to make sure that all of us are in the money economy. All of us are involved in earning something for ourselves.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
And I think this information will benefit many Ugandans.
Thank you, Lilian. Thank you very much for this.